Now, we've got some new evidence in a debate that has divided some parents, some grandparents, and child experts for years. The American Psychological Association now says it has definitive proof that spanking is harmful to children.
Hello, today we're going to be looking at another controversial topic because, I like controversial topics. They have to be talked about. You cannot keep hiding them under the rug. You have to talk about it. Before I begin, please consider liking and subscribing. And today we will see if you should be spanking or not spanking your kids. Let's go to the video.
Our Paula Topman joins us, and I bet, Paula, this new info will not stop the debate.
And you know what, Karen, I think you would win that bet. So let's just lay out the differences. Starting off, spanking is basically a swat on the butt, shaking, or any physical discipline. Beating is a belt, a hairbrush, a stick, or any other implement other than a hand. And abuse is anything that leaves a scar or a mark for 24 hours or more.
Sorry, I should not be laughing about this, but I just realized that I experienced all three of them when I was a child. Well, I am an African guy. I grew up in Africa. So this spanking or not spanking is not a question in Africa. Maybe things are changing now, but where I grew up, you used to get spanked. So the spanking, actually the one that, it's a swat or whatever, the way they're defining it, that one was very, very soft. A beating, well, that was more like it because you used to go out and get your own stick to be whipped with. So I guess I was experiencing more of a beating, and it would leave marks more than 24 hours. So I guess that's all three that I experienced it. Now, for some people, this would be like, oh, why is he laughing? Is he all traumatized and all these things? No, it's just how I see it. And now living in the West, I live in the U.S. now. I lived in the U.S. for many, many decades. It's something that I see people struggling with because the way they're raising kids in America, it's different. And many, many immigrants get into a lot of trouble raising their kids because if you do things like this in America, the child can report you and they will call child protective CPS on you, or they can report you to the teacher or whatever. So many immigrant families, they face these difficulties of raising a child. You don't want the child to be disrespectful, but you don't know how to actually go about it. I see many minorities like, Hispanics. All Hispanics know of the chancla. Like the chancla, their moms will be just doing like some Kung Fu Panda moves, and then you get a chancla flying across the room. So anyway, let's go back to the video.
And the American Psychological Association says it has definitive proof that words are simply more effective than any other kind of punishment.
This one right here?
On Middle Belt Hill in Westland, it's all giggles and smiles as winter break becomes a sled day with Dad. But what about when it's not fun and games? Okay, so a sledding hill is kind of a weird place to pop a controversial question, but the dads were great sports when we asked them about corporal punishment. Rudy says he does not believe in spanking children.
I just know for me as a kid personally, being spanked after a while, I just kind of became desensitized to it. I just think the other way works better, taking away things and just trying to reason with them a little bit more.
Matt says he does when you need to get the child's attention quickly and definitively.
If it's something, they get out of hand, then I believe it is necessary.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised the guy was willing to admit on air, on live TV, that he does spank his kids, because for the most part he's frowned upon, especially in America. Like, if you say that I spank my kids, people are gonna look at you like you just deleted a baby panda. So it's something that it's frowned upon. So for him to actually go on TV and admit he does it, I do respect that, as long as it's not to the abuse level. I do respect that. People, eventually it's up to the parent. The parents will decide how to properly discipline the child, because if you don't discipline the child, the world is going to discipline them. The world is going to teach them very tough and very rough lessons. Either it's going to be through the police or mob justice. It depends, or wherever you live in the world. People have different lessons to apply. So I do respect the fact that he actually believed in himself and he went on air and said he does it. The other one, he said he does not. He talks to the kids. We've all seen videos of, parents talking to the kids, even step parents talking to the kids, and then the kid yells, "You're not my dad." You're not my dad. And then, I don't know, the kid curses out the parent and they go slam the door, and that for the most part normally happens to just, I don't want to sound like going into race thing, but I see it mostly with white kids. They're the ones who are normally that free to answer back to the parents and, react that way. Because for many minorities, you're gonna get handled. You're gonna get handled by your parents. You cannot talk back. You cannot do those crazy things. In public you can, but then when you get home, you're gonna meet. I was about to say you're gonna meet your maker, but that's too much. You're gonna learn today. You're gonna F around and find out. That's what I'm saying.
Good one.
Yeah.
To spare the rod or not to spare the rod has been debated for generations.
That was so much fun.
But today, the American Psychological Association announced a definitive resolution after compiling numerous and diverse studies that included parent surveys, tracking children who were spanked and those who were not. And the word is, spanking is not an ideal punishment.
They looked across more than 140 different studies to see what the results were. We are seeing that children who have been spanked are more likely to have emotional issues, to have cognitive development issues, social development issues, so pretty much across the board, even physical development issues.
The APA says there is proof that anything and everything physical can be emotionally damaging long term.
I mean, I do get the issue of getting maybe traumatized. I guess that's what they're trying to imply, that you get traumatized if you're spanked. I mean, we always give this example, but I was spanked as a kid. I already told you, I got all the three on the list. It was spanking, beating, and then I guess if it leaves a mark, it's considered abuse. I got all three. My parents, I believe they did a great job, because I'm now an upstanding citizen of the world. And they were not doing like, I don't know, a Sparta kick into the, like it's 300. No, they were not gonna Sparta kick me inside a hole. No, they basically wanted me to behave. I was a boy and I was really rowdy. And honestly, if they didn't do that, man, I would have been a menace. I would have been a menace to society. So I do thank them for that. And this is not like some psychological thing where the victim like kind of becomes attached to their captor. No. I do thank them for doing their best. Let's continue.
We also see that physical discipline is not any more effective than a lot of other techniques at changing children's behavior.
This by no means stops the debate, and it is a sensitive one. And Rudy sees it this way.
Well, that should be left up to the parent, again, as long as it's not abusive. Like I said, my kids are really good, so I don't have to worry about that. But, for other kids, maybe it may be needed.
So the APA has no governing powers, but they do have the power to influence and educate. So this resolution becomes basically a clarion call for parental education, teaching parents how to stop punishable behaviors proactively before they happen, and then learning to cope and talk strategies when punishment or corrections are actually needed.
It is a hot topic.
Yeah,
it really is. You know, it's kind of it's a hard topic to have with other parents because you don't know sometimes where they stand.
And sometimes they're kind of quiet about it. They don't really want to talk about it. They don't want to be judged.
Right.
Right. So, and that's kind of important as well.
But the study and what it says is very important to at least share that.
I was not spanked as a child, I will tell you this, and that's why I am like I am.
Well, that's the lady was like, oh, well, that explains it. That explains why you are the way you are. Anyway, it's really up to you as a parent, you know, whether you're gonna do it or not. So that's really up to you, as long as it's not too extreme, as long as you know best. You are the one who brought the kid into the world. The kid did not ask to be here. And you have to teach the kid how to properly behave, because if they don't know how to behave as adults, well, the lessons are going to be much, much worse for them. That's it for today's video. Please consider liking, subscribing. I want to grow this channel. And of course, share this on all the networks. I'll see ya.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!